Here's the room. Don't blink. What you just watched is Water Room, one of the hardest rooms in Mauve, which is itself one of the hardest maps in the game, made by a creator named Mauve. It's a map about building up speed to clear large gaps, also known as a speed chain map. It's amazing, it's artistically inspired, and this room here is my favorite. I want to analyze the map through the lens of this room, both because it's easy to explain in terms of mechanics relative to its difficulty, and while it looks really difficult, it's actually much harder than it looks. So yeah, strap in. Gonna start with just describing the room, and for that we need to know about two things: ultras and corner boosts. Let's start with ultras. Ultras are a way to increase your speed exponentially. In gross oversimplification, you dash down diagonally, jump, dash down, jump, and every time you hit the ground you get a speed multiplier and you go fucking zoom. But it ain't as easy as it looks. Ultras got two quirks which makes them much harder than they look. For starters, your dash must end while you're still in the air. Whenever you press dash, Madeline enters a dash state for a few frames, and if the dash ends while she's still on the ground, you lose all your speed. But the moment the dash ends, air drag starts applying to her and you start losing speed. Moreover, you have to actually hit the ground for the speed multiplier to apply. If you press jump slightly before hitting the ground, the game is generous and kind and sweet and lets you jump anyways, but it might not consider you to have landed and you will not gain the speed boost. So you have to actually fucking land on the ground and then jump, which is not intuitive. But the longer you stay on the ground, the more ground friction is applied and you lose even more speed. So to recap, an optimal chain of ultras looks like this. You start with some speed, say from a hyper dash. You dash down diagonally from just the right height so your dash ends slightly before hitting the ground. You land and then immediately jump to not lose speed to ground friction. And then, again, you dash from just the appropriate height that your dash ends right before you hit the ground. Crucially, when you need to dash after your jump is determined by the height of the next platform. If the platform's real high up, you need to wait quite a bit before dashing so the dash ends in the air. And if the platform's real low, you need to dash as soon as possible in order to not lose speed. Now let's talk corner boosts. Corner boost is when you bump into a corner and do a climb jump, which is jumping while holding grab. This gives you a bit of speed and lets you fly over the corner. Here you actually need to buffer the jump, and because Mauve is a very fast map, it's highly recommended to have two jump buttons so you can do a papa and jump twice in succession. The purpose of corner boost in this room is twofold. One, it lets you preserve your speed from a dash. If you dash forward or up diagonally, the moment the dash ends, your speed is reset to basically zero. But if you dash into a corner and do a corner boost, you preserve your speed and you zoom right over. And second, the corner boost gives you height, which is used to clear large gaps, but more importantly, it gives you a height to an ultra. And now you can see how the two flow together. Got that? Cool. Now, a very nice design feature of this map are these patches of grass. Those are there to teach you the mechanics and show you what you need to do to boot any given screen. So, pay attention and let the green guide you through the mauve. Here's the breakdown. We start with a reverse hyperdash into a corner boost, which already shows you that two jump buttons are necessary. That gives us height to dash into an ultra and then do a corner boost. Now we got two ultras. For the first one you need to wait just a bit, otherwise your speed is entirely killed on the ground. But for the second one you need to hit the ground, jump and dash in an instant. Now you jump into an upright dash into a corner boost. This corner boost is finicky as hell and it's easily one of the hardest parts of the room. It's very easy to under or overshoot it. The purpose of this corner boost is to preserve your speed from the dash and gain some height to land on this platform. But if you just corner boost and continue holding jump, you overshoot it by a lot. So you need to dash, buffer a jump, corner boost and then release jump immediately. Now when you get up to this platform, you need to jump twice to get a corner boost and then do an ultra. This ultra is so easy to mess up. This is where the vast majority of your attempts are gonna die. It's incredibly easy to dash too early and just lose all of your speed. And it's especially mean because right after it you need to dash immediately for a very tight ultra. This ultra is brutal. The faster you go, the less lenient this ultra becomes. You need to jump, dash, land, jump and corner boost in a fraction of a second, and if you miss any one of those, you're not going to make it. It's incredibly easy to either dash too late or buffer your jump or miss the corner boost, and every single one of those, you need to start over, you're done. And assuming you did all of this correctly, you get to the speed check. If you did everything correctly up to this point, you're gonna have just enough speed to make it across. This speed check in particular is one of the harshest ones in the entire map. In many of the other hard rooms in the map, you get quite a bit of leeway. In those rooms, if you do everything correctly, you just fly right off. Here, if you miss a single thing, if you do one thing imperfectly, you start over. Water room is ruthless. And it's fucking dope. To me, this room is the perfect encapsulation of the map's theme. Speed hidden in plain sight. At first it looks lovely, serene, quiet. In another life it might have been a transitional room in a beginner map. But there is this gap, this huge gap, and with it comes an evil undercurrent. Suddenly you start seeing things differently. All those pretty flowers are now indicators to where you're gonna lose all of your speed. The hills and bumps turn from a lush meadow into a vicious instructor, urging you to be faster, urging you to be perfect. The patches of green are uncanny, almost natural, but not quite. They feel wrong. The hand of the designer is not obvious. It's like a ghost haunting the place. And the more you play it, the more sinister it looks. It's called the water room because of this petty little puddle. It's not natural, it looks industrial. It looks contaminated. You see the birds flying the other way, nature itself telling you to go back, to not move on. You're not supposed to be here. Nothing is telling you to go forward. Nothing but your own stubbornness. And Mauve takes advantage of that, to tease you, to test you, to see how well you can dance. And that's beautiful.